Hello there, my fellow rushers. How are you doing today? King Rex here, and today we're continuing on with Kingdom Rush Frontiers hero reviews. Last time we left off with Grom, and now we're getting into another hero that's pretty reminiscent of another review that I made before. You probably have seen him, and you know him because he's awesome. We're talking about Shatra.
Edeh, nori.
Yeah, I love his mysterious voice. By the way, he's saying Ironhide in reverse, if you're wondering what the hell he's saying. And yeah, he's a pretty cool hero, I would say. He's probably one of the best as far as damage is considered. If you're looking for DPS, he is a pretty good hero, but let's take a look at his stats before we jump into any conclusions. 400 health. Now, 400 health is not a lot of health. I mean, it's not bad, but for a melee hero, it's not great either. Medium armor or 40%, which it's kind of alright, but he's not gonna be able to tank as much as like some of the other heroes, like Ulrich or Grom, or even Karknus. So, yeah. However, the damage is pretty nice, 37 to 49. Now, even though it has a sword icon, which means physical damage, he can actually do a different type of damage, which we're gonna talk about in a minute. And then an average attack rate, which I believe way back in the day, many years ago, his attack rate used to be slow for some reason, but now it's average, so that's pretty nice. And now let's get into his abilities and see what he's all about. Starting off with Energy Glaive. Well, we're already starting off with a pretty decent ability. It's basically a kind of like a boomerang attack, and it's pretty decent, I suppose. Is it an insane ability? Probably not, but the thing is that it deals true damage. Yeah, and we love ourselves some true damage up in here. Sure, it's only 35 true damage, so it's not insane amount of true damage. However, it has a 50% chance to bounce to another target. And the thing is that it's kind of an RNG. As you can see here, that was a pretty decent bounce. However, sometimes he may not bounce as much as you want him to be. And similar to Hexaw, if you don't have your... Basically, if the enemies are too separated away from each other, he's gonna do only one bounce. That's about it. And that's gonna be kind of disappointing to look at. So yeah, but the thing is that the cooldown is very short, it's only 7 seconds. So even though sometimes you may not get a good bounce, it's gonna come back so fast that it doesn't even matter all that much. Sure, sometimes it may do matter, but for the most part it doesn't, so yeah. It's pretty cool. I really like this ability, nothing bad to say about this one. The next one is pretty cool. Purification Protocol.
Edeh, nori.
And speaking of good abilities, this one is actually really good. It deals 240 true damage, keep in mind, true damage, for 3 seconds, and it can target multiple enemies, which is really good. I really love it, man. Yeah, it's quite an insane ability to say the least. The cooldown is only 18 seconds too, so it's not bad at all. And as you can see, it just switches from enemy to enemy, and that's a pretty interesting mechanic. However, if you have only one enemy in its range and you have no other enemies around it, it's gonna do the full damage to this target. And 240 true damage to a single target is a lot. I mean, it's gonna almost kill this guy, the brute. And it can also affect flying enemies, which is kind of alright, you know, it's not the most insane thing in the world, but it's cool. Now we're just gonna wait for him. We're gonna wait for him to activate it. There it is. You see, it can affect flying enemies, which is cool. And yeah, that's a decent ability. It's not bad at all. I would say one of the best as far as true damage goes. The next one is pretty nutty. Abduction. Oh yeah, this ability is pretty nutty, man. It's an insta-kill. Look, just abduct someone, just like that. It's really good. Having a portable insta-kill, man, it's ridiculous. Indeed it is. However, it's just like with any other insta-kill ability, it's a bit iffy as far as goodness goes. Because it depends on what enemy you're abducting. Because sometimes you may abduct a really annoying enemy, like let's say a blood shell, and sometimes you may abduct someone really weak, like I don't know, let's say Brood Guard, who have only like 300 health on veteran mode, which is nothing, you can take them down with relative ease, but however, if you have to deal with like a brute, it's a different story, and again, it's kind of an RNG. Sometimes you may abduct the right guy, sometimes you may not, but if you micro him around and you're a little bit careful, you can actually make him abduct the right enemy, but it takes a bit of a practice in order to do it properly. And he can also insta-kill enemies up to 1000 health total, so you can actually insta-kill multiple enemies if you really need to, which could be helpful in the early game, but later on, I don't know, it depends. I would say it's pretty nice because you can use the ability in multiple ways. And yeah, overall, pretty good ability. As far as the cooldown goes, it's a little bit long, 25 seconds. But it's not terrible or anything. I would say for an insta-kill, that's a pretty reasonable cooldown. So yeah, I really like it. Pretty much, it's the only ability in the game that's a guaranteed insta-kill. It's not the only ability that gives you the ability to insta-kill, but it's the only ability that has a guaranteed insta-kill. Mirage has only 25% chance of an insta-kill with her Death Strike ability or whatever it was called. And I believe Ashbite also had a chance for an insta-kill, but we're gonna talk about them much later, so we're just gonna continue with Shatra and his next ability. The next one is the main thing where I was talking about, why his damage is not actually physical. But I can't pronounce this word, man. Vibro blades. I think that's how you pronounce it. Oh man, if we couldn't get more nuttier than that, like wow. Now we get extra damage. The extra damage boost is not great, but it's, you know, it's something. However, now we can do true damage. Yeah, which is wonderful. We love true damage up in here. No, if you say you don't like true damage, then you're not playing the game right, or you're drunk, one of the two. Because true damage is always a positive. You cannot say that true damage is a negative. That's just stupid. And yeah, he can do true damage, which is awesome. He can even enemies that are immune to certain types of damage, like Phantom Warriors or Lugios. You can damage them with relative ease. But keep in mind that even though he does true damage, his health is still the same. 400 health and 40% armor is not it's not an insane amount of tankiness as far as melee heroes are considered. So even though he can do true damage, he can withstand a crap ton of damage by himself. You still have to pull him away sometimes, and yeah, just keep that in mind. Even though he does true damage, he's not the tankiest in the game, so you can't just leave him to fight the enemies for too long, otherwise he's gonna die. And yeah, and if you're looking for something even more interesting, final countdown.
Like a job.
Yeah, just I was saying about his death. He has a death effect, which is something that I think none of the other heroes had, which is unique. Basically, if he reaches up to 0, or A.K.A he dies, he's gonna perform a grouped attack that does 220 true grouped damage. Whoa, and that's indeed a lot. Imagine doing true area damage, and that's really awesome. However, there's a bit of a trick to it. He has to die in order for this to happen. And killing your hero on purpose is never a good move. It's pretty stupid to do, so Yeah, and his cooldown is kinda long, 25 seconds. He's gonna take quite a while to come back, so you don't wanna kill him on purpose. But if you can't save him and you know he's gonna die, at least send him in the middle of everything so he can do a lot of damage. Again, 220 area true damage is pretty good. Is it worth it killing him for? No, it's not, but hey, it could be your last resort. If you're getting overwhelmed and you know Shatter is gonna die, just send him in there. However, the thing is that he doesn't perform the explosion immediately. He takes a little bit in order to explode. He takes a couple of seconds to, you know, type in on his device or whatever and explode himself. So yeah, Shatter is quite an interesting hero. I would say one of the strongest in the game. He definitely deserves a solid 9 out of 10. He's really good. Will we recommend him? Definitely. If you're looking for a strong hero, he is a pretty good option. However, keep in mind that he is not the tankiest in the game. If you're looking for tankiness, there's better heroes, but if you're looking for crowd control and you're having issues on some of the harder levels, Shatter will be a pretty good option. So yeah, overall, that's what I have to say about Shatter. Really good hero, I would definitely recommend. Yeah, so yeah guys, well that's gonna do it for the video. Thank you everybody so much for watching. I appreciate you for sticking around to the end. Subscribe if you want to see more of this content in the future, and while you're at it, drop a like on the video, it means a lot to me. And I will see you in the next video. Until it comes, that was King Rexy, over and out.